Planarcadia, the planet of elation. I have been eagerly anticipating this place since version 2.0. The reason why is just beyond this camera pan. Hello, Miss Sparkle. I simply adore this personification of chaos. Her being with the masked fools also means another cool person is probably hanging around these parts. That's right, Sampo the hero is sure to be here. March, stop being a killjoy. Let me enjoy this fleeting time with my favorite character in the story before she's benched for another year or two. Because that's how gacha storytelling works. She'll be our guide around Planarcadia in this opening Trailblazer mission. And boy, could the stakes not be higher. There's a tournament in Planarcadia, winner of which gets to be the Eon of Elation for a single minute. What would you do with that power? I know what I would do. Add guarantees to the relic system, and make it so you get an item that lets you choose a stat upgrade roll every 80 to 100 Cavern Corrosion clears. Vote Blazer-dono for Best Planarcadia Supplicant. New planet means new stores. Let's see, what do we have? I'll take them all, boss. Other than that amazing plushie, it seems to be the standard fare, though Bottled Quantum Ghost is interesting. Decreases enemy speed? That's new. Gosh, Blazer-dono is so dashing. Look at him, all dreamy-like on that drink advertisement. Hey Mem, they even have one of you. She looks a bit different. Mem? Murder Furball? Buddy, where are you? Oh no, Amphorius ended and we'll never again see her in the story, huh? Because that's how gacha storytelling works. A secret rendezvous with Sparxie? Wait, join forces? How dare you insult me?
Are we gonna kill the Furbo to silence it?
We would never do something so violent.
Of course we're killing the Furbo.
You really are the best, gray hair.
Aw, I know I am.
Wake up! Don't forget how she
March,
played us
shut
like
up, or I'm throwing you into that river. No way. My man, Scott! Favorite character? Check. Favorite NPC? Check. On a planet dripped out in 90s gaming and internet nostalgia? It's so peak. Actually, speaking of, today's sponsor, Zenless Zone Zero, is also all about that. Created by Hoyoverse, the same developer behind Honkai Star Rail, Zenless Zone Zero is a stylish action game decked out in a retro fit. Honestly, that aesthetic, along with the game's fluid and impactful combat that's easy to pick up, are what have kept me playing since day one. They just rolled out version 2.7, steering the story back towards Janus Quarter, the first location in the game and where the protagonist's shop, Random Play, is. Players can expect to reunite with some familiar faces. The first new character of the update, Nangong Yu, rounds out the all-idol faction, Angels of Delusion, and brings the power of a stun agent to anomaly teams through the use of some pretty wicked maces. Zenless Zone Zero version 2.7 is live now. Curious to give it a try? There's a link to download the game in the description, and players both new and veteran can use my code for a little in-game gift. Thanks to Zenless Zone Zero for sponsoring, and now back to Blazer-dono. Planarcadia has one major difference from other planets. Unless the player initiates combat, enemies just chill on the streets. It's really messing with me. Are they luring us into a false sense of security? Will a future area on this planet be swarming with hyper-aggressive baddies? Enemies are level 32 at EQUILIBRIUMMMM, putting them on par with Amphorius enemies. It would seem this is the norm the dev team has decided upon. It's unlikely we'll ever again see level 40 enemies such as those from Penacony in the 2.x versions. To clarify, my equilibrium level has not changed between Penacony and now. The devs simply keep lowering overworld and story enemy levels, while conversely hyperinflating endgame enemy stats. These definitely not Mario minigames incorporated into the main story path are a lot of fun. I tried to skip the jump power up in this one, which permanently enhances your jump count from 2 to 3. but even if one carefully walks underneath, it'll be picked up. Nearly all Mario minigames can be completed with 2 jumps, because of additional mechanics like standing on spikes, extra hops while climbing, and vaulting the player can do when close to the top of a ledge. Currently, Miss Sparxie has taken over the academy on Planarcadia and is attempting to turn everyone into more versions of her. Can I help with this plan? It sounds great to me!
Greetings, protagonist.
Oh no. Pink hair and mysterious, with words that drip pure, undiluted vagueness. And those ears mean you're the mem lookalike in that art around town. Please, not again. Ugh. She wants to help with the situation. So naturally, knowing nothing about the person, I ask what they can do.
I don't like it when someone answers my question with another question. Think before you speak.
Wow, could you be any more rude?
Hey!
Everyone on this planet is so insane. I kinda dig it. Next on the list is to infiltrate the Mafia with Miss Tingyu. Yeah, dude, shred that guitar and get shredded yourself.
I don't want to take your life.
Then, we've got Sampo the hero joining in to help Blazer-dono and Sparkle, fish through the contents of toilets. No, I will not add context. Lastly, we've got the choice to kill Sparkle. It's all the chaos I could ever hope for. Truly elating. 2 of the 3 options are in favor of it. This is sick. Of course I'm not going to press the button, as if Blazer-dono has a history of doing horrific things to the characters of this game in pursuit of his goals. What an insane thing to think. Not pressing it. But if I did, what would happen? Oh, curiosity, you're a dangerous drug. Frantically mashing the button. Okay, that doesn't actually happen. But wouldn't it be cool if it did? Seemed like the perfect place for a new alternate ending into credits roll. This is what really happens.
Hey! Gray hair! Have you forgotten our friendship?
Too bad. I took the battery out of the button earlier while no one watched.
What? That's it? This will not do. How unlike you, Sparkle, to interfere with a moment poised to be entertaining. So, if it's you on the prank chopping block, it's not okay, huh? You're acting like a normal person. But don't worry, licensed psychiatrist Blazer-dono has a baseball bat ready to knock those screws loose once more. And he'll do just that in the upcoming boss fight, SparxiCon. Maybe it didn't work when he tried it against his first patient, Fei Xiao. But after all those new relics I picked up in Amphorius, including this cracked crit damage headpiece earned while collecting the post-Iron Tomb Golden Nymphs, I've got confidence in spades. She'll be back to the old Sparkle in no time. Yes, back to being Chaos Incarnate and having no lines she won't cross.
Rules are made to be broken! You're up.
Good lord, this dude is way too strong now. SparxiCon has one interesting mechanic in total. It's when she whisks the player away to that virtual battlefield. Normally, you choose one character to enter this virtual battlefield, but since Blazer-dono is the only one, it's him every time. If the enemies are wiped out quickly, the character is returned to the normal battlefield and SparxiCon will take increased damage. If they are not wiped out quickly, and I guess this is what I get for holding my ultimate...
Everyone, let's drown him in our spit!
The heck? Lady, that's disgusting. Yeah, that happens if the enemies on the virtual battlefield are not wiped out in time.
Are made to be broken!
Why yes, the battle really was that quick. It didn't scratch the itch. So while we discuss this next part, we'll continue the Simulated Universe Challenge where we left off all the way back in episode 8. World 6 is up. Let's talk
Equilibrium.
Equilibrium level is what controls game difficulty via enemy level, similar to world level in Genshin Impact. The difference is that, in Genshin Impact, the player can choose to lower it by 1. That's not possible in Star Rail. Raising it is an irreversible choice. For a single character account, it's an incredibly heavy decision. Still, SparxiCon was pathetically easy. Nothing like the opening boss of Amphorius, Nikador, at least when using Remembrance Trailblazer. SparxiCon was on the same difficulty tier as the Flame Reaver, which brings us to the main point of this discussion. Bosses without multiple unique mechanics have gotten very easy. This usually means non-weekly bosses are simple, although there are exceptions. Nikador, Pollux, and Lygus are examples of that. Meanwhile, weekly bosses remain difficult, but it tends to be the case that only one version of it will be. Either the story version is hard and the Echo of War version is easy, like Iron Tomb, or the story version is easy and the Echo of War version is hard, like Aquila. And that's to say nothing of bodyguard duty battles, the previous two of which I barely scraped by. I may have gotten Aquila on the first try, but Barbara was one attack from death. And Iron Tomb? When I won, Cyrene was guaranteed to die on the next turn. Anyways, I just wanted to fully address the elephant in the room. I've seen some comments about my Equilibrium level, and I figured now would be a good time to bring it up. Equilibrium level did not play much part in Amphorius because those bosses have crazy mechanics and I had a whole new Trailblazer path to play from the get-go. So I think I'll continue to shelve, but occasionally mull over Equilibrium level changes. As the term suggests, it's a fine balance. Whereas some bosses are pathetically easy, others are insane due to stacked mechanics that weren't designed for a single character to tackle, despite how overtuned my level 40 Trailblazer now is. SparxiCon could be an odd one out for Planarcadia. Amphorius had 2, Flame Reaver and that weird grinning snake. Penacony had Sam. Maybe the 4.1 baddie will be insane. Maybe Elation Trailblazer, due out in 4.2 based on drip marketing, will bring new challenges in trying to defeat Planarcadia bosses using only Elation. Now you know everything that's been on my mind since recording the footage for this episode. The thoughts started churning the moment I steamrolled SparxiCon. Anyways, look at that. Simulated Universe World 6 complete. Mem, you're the best. Might it be possible to clear all 9 worlds with a single level 40 character? Gonna start working towards that while I continue playing Arcadia. This is Moosashi, and Blazer-dono, and Murder Furball, and special guest star Sparkle, who I hope remains relevant for the entirety of Planarcadia, signing off. Till next time.